Welcome to the Total Release Podcast, where letting go so you can grow is a daily decision. See, most of us believe that if we just had more time, more money, more opportunities, life would finally click. But here's the truth. You don't have a more problem. You have a present problem. Today, I'm going to show you 4 reasons we chase more and 4 principles that prove presence creates more productivity, more clarity, and even more time. Let's go. This is a total release moment today. I know it is for me. I want to release the myth of more so you can step into the power of being present. Here are 4 reasons people think more is better. Number 1, the illusion of time freedom is what clouds a lot of our minds, right? We believe that there is, more hours that we need. We believe that if we have more hours, we'll actually catch up. Well, guess what? Everybody has the same 24 hours a day, 168 hours in a week. And guess what? The reality is what we do with those hours will determine how we catch up. Now, I learned that more hours just really gives me more distraction if I don't know how to manage the hours that I already have, right? If I'm not get up in the morning and doing my regimen or routine, which involves prayer meditation, which involves my workout, which involves communicating with my family, which involves not only tackling my to-do list, but leaving space for other opportunities that may be better than what I was planning, right? Sometimes we don't even be faithful over the plan that we wrote the night before or the week we wrote it or when we first said it. We're not faithful. I know I'm guilty because you know what happens? You get distracted. Something more shiny, something with more novelty pops up and we start running towards that. The reality is that's not the answer. You'll find out why presence is really more important than any other thing throughout your day and how that works, right? So here it is. When we start chasing after everything that shines, that seems like the next best thing, or anything that removes the comfort from focusing, we start to experience stress. We get to experience burnout, right? Never feeling like we're enough, never accomplishing anything successfully, right? You touch it, but you never get a chance to really experience it. Number 2, the myth of comparison. You start looking at other people saying, hey, they have more, so I need more, right? The reality is social media is one of the greatest mind trick, time spenders of all times. I love social media, don't get me wrong, but if you don't know why you're on it, if you don't have a plan, if you're not focused on why you're on social media, you'll focus on what everybody else is saying, what everybody else is doing, and you'll compare your lives to theirs. See, here it is. Peers fuel the idea that success equals accumulation. Did you get that? Your peers, they fuel the idea that success equals accumulation. That's not necessarily true, right? Not everybody is happy because they have everything. What is the outcome when we start to chase after what other people have? Jealousy, dissatisfaction, broken confidence. You start to realize that everything that they have, you'll realize it wasn't for you and you don't really want it either. That makes it worse because now you spent time chasing after something that doesn't make you happy, just to realize that along the way, the things that you really value most got left behind. Number 3, the lie of security. Here it is. If I had more money, I'd feel safe. Now, don't get me wrong. I've heard people say in the past that money is just like oxygen. Try going 5 minutes without it, right? It doesn't mean that money doesn't answer all things, and that's in the good book. But see, the reality is money without presence, it only magnifies real fear. You're always afraid to lose it. If you're not present, you're constantly running and chasing after something that's an illusion. The reality is money without presence magnifies fear. So we always say, and you always probably hear, that money makes you more of who you already are. So if you're a person that struggles with fear, insecurity, lack, it's just going to make you more of who you are. And the outcome of that is anxiety. You start losing your hair, right? You start developing cells in your body that aren't healthy. You start hoarding. You stop trusting, this distrust that's built into that whole mindset. And it's not really worth it when you start thinking about it. Like, so where do we need to focus in order to have that groundedness? That's really what one of the questions you have to ask yourself, just like I constantly have to remind myself, right? And then number 4, there's the trap of delay. You start saying things like, well, once I have more, then I'll start. No, you start with what you have. You appreciate the small things. You value the small things. If you only have $1 versus 1 million, you don't compare yourself. You just say, hey, listen, I'm going to manage this dollar really well with what I can and with what I have, you know what I mean, to manage, within reason of my circumstances. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what I make from this dollar and I'm going to use it to do what I feel like I'm called to do. Because the reality is you have to be faithful over small things in order to be faithful over bigger things. When you develop the habit with the right intention, right? If you develop the habit with the right intention, then guess what happened? More comes to you. So here's what people have to remember, right? More becomes an excuse to avoid discipline because it hurts. It hurts to change. I like how Myron Golden says, you got to make your brain sweat. and I'm like, I don't like making my brain sweat. But you gotta push through. You gotta persevere. You have to, you gotta get rid of all of those areas of your life that are broken. You gotta work on those so that you can endure, right? If the chain on your bike is no good, how much can you really pedal? You can't. You'll be in the same spot, right? If you are running and you have a broken leg in a marathon, that won't work. You have to heal first. It's the same thing when it comes down to how, we see time, how we see presence, how we see valuing right now. And here's the outcome when we don't do it. There's procrastination, there's wasted seasons in your life, there's a lot of regret, right? But I want to share with you, right? I want to share with you 4 principles of presence, on the contrary, that create more. How does this work? Number 1, clarity creates capacity. See, think about that for a minute. What does that mean? Focus is actually the new wealth that I'm realizing in my own personal life and what I'm discovering. If you see online with the people that are starting to become more awakened to the truth, realizing that, that we must all surrender and focus to today. I mean, right now is all that we have. Tomorrow's not promised, and thank God for yesterday, no matter how bad it was, right? No matter what you had to endure to get to today, what we do have is the opportunity to look back and reflect and say, hey, this is what I learned yesterday, no matter what happened, and this is my new day, right? So focus is the new wealth, because the moment you start reprogramming your mind, guess what happens? When you're present for now, today, you start to see things that you didn't see before. Your mind not only expands, but so does time. Typically what happens is we chase after things. We're trying to find something. We're running after money. We're chasing after a lifestyle. And we end up missing all the beautiful things that we were supposed to see along the way. So then when we get the money, we don't value the small things because we never took time to be present with them. I see so much more when I take walks now as opposed to driving. I see so much more when I sit down, when one of my children are trying to have a conversation with me and I'm busy, I'm working, or I'm getting ready to get on a conference call. I have to stop and listen, because you never know the one thing that they're about to say, and even if they don't know it, could be the thing that changes your life. It could be the answer that you was chasing all day, all week long, trying to find an answer to. And out of the mouth of a small child, your life can be transformed just like that. Presence, right? So here's the reality, right? You get this outcome of productivity that you wouldn't have received if you're chasing and racing after things. What I'm learning is doing less, you start to accomplish more when you're more present. Number two, gratitude grows resources. What does that mean? What you appreciate starts to appreciate. That's right. When you start to value things the right way, like time right now, then those people, when I spend time with my children, I realize that not only do I receive, but so do they. They start to appreciate and they begin to value and they begin to produce and they become more fruitful. I start to see the fruit in their lives, and guess what happens? There are times in life when daddy's not always at his best, but guess what? They bring it back to me. So now the appreciation I gave them with time, my focus, my heart, they now bring it back to me and I get the reciprocation. And that happens with all relationships when you understand your value and you share it with others appropriately, right? I'm not saying with everybody, but there's a level of appreciation we can have with all humanity, with all life. You know what I mean? See, presence trains your mind to see hidden opportunities. A lot of times we find it difficult to interact with people because we don't see the value within ourselves or the hidden opportunities that lie waiting for us to grow, for us to really and truly have more, the things that we really want in life, right? So, the reality is there's an outcome that we get to see, that's more prosperity, valuable relationships, and, your resources begin to multiply because you steward well. And stewarding, that's a big topic all by itself, but it's a mindset. It's not about being, in survival mode. It's not being in prosperity gospel. It's about stewarding what you've been given, your time, your relationships, your money, and really and truly tying it to the thing that you feel called to. The thing that actually brings value to the world in a meaningful way, starting with people. If you value yourself, you'll be able to value relationships and you'll begin to see them, and those hidden opportunities will begin to show up. Number three, connection fuels impact. What does that mean? Once again, presence builds people and people build your future. See, being present in relationships produces trust. I kind of hit on this already, but it produces trust. One of the most hidden gems of all, the power to trust and to be trusted. Because when that happens, there's collaboration, and collaboration creates synergy. It creates more opportunity. You go from addition and subtraction to multiplication. I realized recently, I said, you know what? I started doing more reflection on my relationships, and not just the ones I currently have, but how do I step outside my bubble and expand in my relationships and grow in other areas that I may not be that comfortable in, because I believe that in those communities, in those connections is my future, my dreams, the people that I love most that I serve. I can get more when I trust and when I build better relationships, starting with myself. That's when the doors begin to open. That's when you get to see valuable relationships that bear long-term fruit. And I'm learning that that's the key. That's one of the greatest keys, right? Having relationships is profound. Number four, peace unlocks power. For the last 4 years, I would say that would be one of my biggest prayers. In the epic prayer mindset, if I could think of one thing to pray for that I close with, is I pray for peace. There's so much value in having peace because it removes the worry, it removes the doubt, even when you're still waiting, right? We know that faith is not what you say, but it's how you respond while you wait. Right? So stillness is strength. You have to know how to be still. You have to have that peace. When you go into meditation, does your spirit, does your mind, and do your actions align? That's tough because this morning I had to sit and I had to say, you know what? Today I'm feeling a little rocky. But then when I woke up, I got on the call with the group of guys that we meet with, and we do life together. We read a scripture together. We pray together. We encourage each other. And I was like, man, this is what I need. Like, it's on those days when you feel like you need it, but there's days when you don't have to need, you don't really have a need. Maybe you feeling good, but that's the day when somebody else in your life needs it. That's the day that you show up, not because you don't need it, but you show up because somebody else does, right? They need that peace too. And you can be that peace in someone's life when you have that peace. Sometimes you can just shake a hand with a brother or a sister or a friend or a neighbor or a stranger and just say hello. And you don't know that whatever that peace is, that presence that you walk in, when they come in contact with you, it could literally make a decision in their heart to not want to give up that day. Your presence creates hope. But if your energy is scattered and we're, constantly being bombarded with so many distractions, so many doubts, so many worries, the past, the current, how are we going to deal with this? How are we going to deal with that? Well, remember what happened last time. We have to kind of like let that go so that we can be present, so that our soil can be good, so that people will pour into us, and then we can reciprocate that and we can keep growing together. But it requires being still, silencing the past, unless you're thinking about how good the past was, how tough it may have been, how challenging it may have been, but how did you get to where you are right now? You're still breathing, you're still alive. See, the outcome is more alignment. Your spirit, your mind, and your actions align and they work together. That is the key. That is the mystery that many of us struggle with. And we have to maintain focus every single day. It's today. It's today your daily bread. It's today that you pray not to be led into temptation, tempted to go back to your stinking thinking. The temptation not to self-sabotage not only your life, but the people that you say you love. I'm guilty of that. And I have to every single day say to myself, today's a new day. Today is my best day. Today I show up big, bold, and even when it hurts, I'm going to keep pressing no matter what. Today is my day. It's an epic day. So we don't need more time necessarily, or more money, or more chances. What we need to be is present with what's in our hands right now. What's in your hand right now? What do you have? If today all you have is the ability to say thank you, then say thank you, God. Thank you to your wife. Thank you to your children. Thank you to your neighbor. Thank you to yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and say thank you for just getting up and going at it again today. Because when you take on this mindset and this heart of gratitude, it says that you appreciate right now. It says that when you appreciate right now, that you are convinced that your right now appreciation creates more appreciation. It creates more value. It literally connects belief in you to the future that you want to see. When you make the action to say, I am grateful for today, even if your belief is low, that 5, 10, 15, 20% down there is actually what connects with appreciation. Belief and appreciation creates an honor. It creates a respect for the future. It says we still have more work to do. I learned that honoring the past and respecting the future is what causes appreciation right now. I don't focus all my energy on the past. I don't focus everything on the future, but I honor them and I respect them and I look at right now. What do I do right now? See, this week, when you catch yourself feeling like you're having to chase more, remember this. When you show up, when you lean into clarity, gratitude, when you lean into connection, when you lean into peace, instead of you having to chase it, it will chase you. The things that you're looking for, which is more, it finds you. So this week, I want you to pause when you find yourself chasing more. Pause and ask yourself, what's the present opportunity right in front of me right now. Right? What's in front of me instead of me running way over here, chasing here, looking here, being distracted from this and that person and this situation and that circumstance? What is it do I see right in front of me? You may have misplaced something a long time ago and you're still trying to find it. Similar to, I put my keys somewhere and I can't find it. And the moment you stop running all over the place and you be still, it comes to you, oh, I left them in the door, in the lock. Or I put them down on the table where I placed the mail at, and I just forgot because that's not normally where I put them. But I need to be present because when you're running and chasing, you're forgetting things. So the question alone can transform your productivity when you be still and you ask yourself that question. What's in front of me right now? What opportunities are right in front of me now? Even if you're struggling with debt, well, what opportunity do you have in front of you right now? If you're struggling with bad relationship right now with your significant other or just with friends in general, what opportunity do I have right now to better me, to have better valuable relationships, to better me, to have better finances, to better me, to be in a position to be of more value to other people when I come in contact with them? If this episode made sense to you in any kind of way, I need you to share it with a friend because maybe they need to hear what you heard today that could change their lives, just like you've sensed something changing in yours. And if you're ready to go deeper on this total release journey, I want you to do me a huge favor. I want you to go to our website at epic490.com and go ahead and book a discovery call. I'd love to speak with you to help you figure out your total release journey. So I am excited. I am so pumped up about life right now, no matter how grim it gets sometimes, no matter how tough it gets. Here's the key. Keep going, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how painful it is. Keep going. You are close to your breakthrough. And keep your mind focused. Keep your eyes and your heart aligned and your spirit, and stay focused and believe. Because when you believe, you'll look back and you'll say, man, I made it through that situation. I made it through that situation. And the reality is I'm going to get through this one because on the other side of this one, there's a major breakthrough. There's something huge happening just for you. And I challenge you today to let it go so you can grow. God bless.